Or if I can reach hand to foot, then I want to make that connection. What the fuck?
Black Filipino, bump the track, Reno. If you like this, then donate a C-no.
Okay. So, we're going to come into downward dog. We're going to take the leg up and then bring it underneath so we can go into Raja Kapotasana or Pigeon Pose. So I'm going to take my right leg up, bend through that knee, take it underneath me, turning it out, and then I'm going to stretch that back leg, bottom leg back. That's my left leg. And then if it's really tight, you're just going to hang out here, right? Yeah, this feels really tight today. But it's also one of the first big stretches of the class, or of this stream, so here we are. I'm gonna take my hands to the sides, arch back, and open up the chest first. And then as your muscles release, you'll start to sit a little bit lower here. But right now it's up high and that's fine. So just opening up the chest, and then from here I'm gonna take my elbows or hands, whatever you have accessible today. So hands forward, and then maybe you take your elbows down. Morning. And you can relax your head. I like to stack my fists in front and let my forehead rest. Or if my neck is tight like it is right now, just massaging the back of my neck. Eventually you can lay forward. You can also tuck your toes of the straight leg back and then carefully lift the knee off the floor. That's going to increase the stretch big time. So don't do that if this is already intense, yeah? I mean, I feel like that's common sense, but also common sense doesn't seem to exist very much anymore. So there you go. If you need to modify something so that it doesn't hurt, then modify it. Great job. Release the knee down and then release the foot, and then slowly start to come back up. So from here, I'm gonna bend that leg. Option, okay? If you're good where you are, stay there. I'm gonna take left hand to left foot, and then open up the chest. Now I can guide that foot closer if I want more of a quad stretch. Well, if I want more of a quad stretch, I can send that foot towards my back. I can flex the foot and bring it closer that way. But either way, I want to try to relax the hamstring as much as I can. And just like I've said before, you can always use a yoga strap if your hand to your foot is not accessible easily. Ooh, that's my neck. Not the other side, but okay. Release that down carefully. We're going to carefully come out of that and then pass back through downward dog. And pedal through the feet. We're going to do the other side. So that was my right leg. Now we're gonna take left leg up towards the ceiling, bend through that knee, and then take it underneath for your pigeon pose on that left side. So I want to adjust my foot if I need to, so that it doesn't hurt. So there's no like sharp pains, yeah? My knee, my front left knee should be to the outside of my hips also. So I don't want my knee to cross over underneath. And then I want to try to release down as much as I can, so I'm not holding myself up. But if it's tight, again, like I said, it's early. If it's tight, then just relax where you are and try to stay there. So now I'm going to stretch spine straight, open up the chest, and try to breathe there. You should also feel this in your hip, opening up. I feel like I'm really far from the floor, but again, super tight. And then we're going to take this forward. So if you took just hands down, then you'll just hold there, okay? If you came down to elbows, then you'll come to elbows. And breathe. Ooh. If you notice that your glutes on that left side are tensing up or tightening up, relax. And that tends to happen when we're in this position, pigeon pose, Rajakapotasana. We tense up because it can be extreme. So again, stack your fists, let your forehead rest, take your head forward. Whatever feels good, relax here. So you always have the option, you just want to match your right and left sides. So whatever you did on one side, you want to make sure you do on the other side, but you always have the option of staying, or you can come up and start to, like I said last time, this is the option too of tucking the toes under. That again is going to intensify the stretch, and when you do it, your hips should stay in the same spot. So I think that time I lifted up, but when you tuck your toes under, you want to try to keep your hips where they are so that when you lift that knee off the floor, it intensifies the stretch, right? It's pointless to do that and then lift your hips up, then you're taking the stretch away. Okay, so what I was saying, grab hand to foot if you're going into that stretch or that version. Oh my goodness. This quad is so tight today. Oh, I did a bunch of squats and lunges yesterday. That's why. That was my mouth, okay? Just to clarify. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It sounds like the lady with the hot dogs. What's her name? That comedian. Is she a comedian even? I think she's just funny because she's so weird. The blonde lady from American Pie. Oh my gosh. I don't know what she says in that TikTok. Anyways, whatever, that's what it made me think of. Release the foot to the floor. Slowly come out of it. Ugh. Okay, in this tabletop, sometimes it's nice to just take a few rocks side to side. So you're loosening up those hips again from where you just were. And then you can take your downward dog again and pedal through your feet. Okay. So, ready for splits. Feels early, but we'll still work towards getting there. We're not gonna go full splits yet, okay? We're gonna go into a runner stretch. I guess I'll go left side first. That's my better side. So I usually like to do my worst side first, but we'll just go with that. So I'm taking my left leg in front. On YouTube, my mat is crooked. Sorry, on Twitch, it's lined up. And, you know, we do what we can. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna send my hips forward. My right leg is back behind me, and I'm trying to be mindful of my ankle in line with my knee. And I'm just trying to open up the hip here. So I'm sending the hips forward. Stretching, 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 so very gently. And again, if you feel like you can go further, amazing, do that. Do what you need. That's great. That's wonderful. And then take your hands to the floor. Oh, up the hip a little bit more. Open up, that's what that word was. Open up the hip a little bit more. Oof. And then we're gonna send the hips back. So now, big hamstring stretch. I've got my left leg in front. I'm gonna flex that foot. I'm pointing my back foot just because I want you to get used to pointing your feet. You can flex if you want, but that's, I don't know. I don't think, I teach dance, so that's not cute to me. But point your toes and stretch that front leg straight. Now from here, if that's like too far, and you need to come up, then stay up here. I feel like this is harder to balance, so I would like to take my hands down. But if that feels really tight in the hamstring or it's pulling, then please back off of the stretch, okay? But from here, I'm going to let my torso come to my leg, and I wanna try to keep my back as flat as possible. So rather than thinking just nose to knee, I'm thinking chest to thigh. And then I'm letting my head relax because I want to let those muscles release. So the hamstrings are a big part of the splits. If your hamstrings are tight, it's gonna feel like you're having a hard time getting into the full splits right away. The splits is not something that you get into the first time you try it anyway, and if so, congratulations, that's amazing. But usually you have to work on slowly gaining flexibility to do it in a healthy way. We don't want to hurt the muscles or overstretch anything, so we take our time. Now from here, I'm gonna slowly start to come into what is referred to as a jazz split. It's not your full split. So I'm going to use my muscles, and I'm going to lift myself up so I can turn out my back leg. Sorry for this crotch shot, but you know, welcome to stretching and dance. So the back leg, can I scoot back maybe? Oh, I'm getting a cramp in my hip, hold on. One moment. My back leg is bent, toes pointed. I'm sitting on my tush, and then that front leg is stretched out in front, okay? Great. Shoulders squared with that front leg. My front leg is my left leg, so match me if you like, or do the opposite. And then I'm just gonna let that leg, or that foot, I should say, relax. So I'm not worried about pointing the foot right now. You can if you want. If you're a dancer, you're probably just gonna naturally point. But you can also flex, but keep this quadricep, your left thigh, engaged. So now I'm going to send my torso down to my leg. And I want to think of dropping this right side down. So left leg in front, torso facing the leg, but dropping that right side. So you're not like this, yeah? Here, and then flattening it out as much as possible. Again, chest to thigh, as opposed to knee and nose, which you can also do. Eventually leads nose to knee, but it should go chest, thigh, nose, knee, stretching down, not nose, knee, and then this big speed bump. Yas. And then those of you that have that flexibility can start to take the torso past the leg and towards the mat. So now that leg is like in my armpit. But I'm trying to stay on top of it as much as possible. So now, I was gonna say point the foot, but go ahead and keep it flexed. We're gonna open up the chest to what would be the mirror in the dance studio or your camera or your laptop. And I'm keeping same hand, same leg attached to each other. And then my opposite arm is gonna reach up and out. And now I'm reaching that arm out past my foot, or if I can reach hand to foot, then I want to make that connection. What the fuck? And then from here, I just want to try to open up my chest to the camera or the audience. Let the head relax. So that's why I'm flexing that foot, because I want to try to reach hands to feet or foot. I'm keeping this right hip open as much as I can, toes back. And breathe. Do you guys feel cleansed? This I think it was what did it say? 432 HZ binaural beats. It's for cleansing yourself and your home space. So hopefully you feel cleansed now while you're stretching. We're multitasking on a Friday morning. Get with it. All right, from here, we're gonna come through to your diagonal. So that space between the two legs, you're gonna walk forward. Now I'm just keeping my foot flexed because I feel like it. You can point if you want. I'm pointing my back leg, the leg that's bent. And then from there, you can come to your elbows if that's accessible. If not, don't worry about it. Oh. Ooh, you're gonna feel this in your inner thigh and in your hamstring. And if you feel like it's not a lot, like you need more, you can always lay flat in front. I need a pedicure, you guys. For real, for real. I think I said that last week too. It's fine. Oh. I think before we go into the splits, we're gonna stretch centered because this left side is feeling it. And then we'll go into the splits, okay? Make sure you're breathing. Okay, we're gonna come out of it. Ooh. And always come out of things slowly. Take your time. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, you might feel some pressure in that inner thigh, hamstring, and then in that back knee, okay? Oh, okay, so we're gonna bring the legs together. Shake them out before we go into the split. So we're just giving the legs a little break. And that was the mat. And so we've got the legs stretched out. Oh, my toes are cold and I need a pedicure. We're gonna fold in half and let the head fall. Oh, I feel that in the back of my head and neck. Okay, are we ready for the splits? It's gonna be the left side. Actually, before we do that, take the left leg that we were just stretching over, like cross it over. Sit up tall. We did this one last week. Hug your right arm around that left leg and then open up your chest to the left. So this is all left side prep, and then we're gonna go into the right side after we do the splits. Okay. Slowly release. All right, so, ooh. Ready? Left side. Left side's my better side, so if that's not your better side, just do what you can. Again, be careful and take baby steps. You might want to put a pillow underneath your back knee or even your front knee. So I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to take my hands down. I want to keep my hips squared, my hips and my shoulders squared, and then I want to slowly slide. That's my foot, okay? I want to slowly slide my foot forward. What an immature asshole. So then I also want to slide my back leg back. Yeah? Now I would normally just suggest sliding forward so that you're not having to adjust your back leg, but my space is horizontally challenged, okay? So I'm having to adjust to fit into the screen. And what's cool is that you can't even see in this shot, so that's great. But my front foot and my back foot are cut off, okay? But they're there, I swear. So as I hold here, I'm trying to think of that right hip rotating forward. So I don't want it to be open towards the audience, towards you guys. I want to keep the hips facing my left wall. Now, for some reason in this shot, that really looks like my hip is open, but it's not, I swear. So shoulders, hips, and then holding. And if this is too much, you might be up here. Yeah? You might be off the floor, holding yourself up, and that's kind of the process, and should be what lights the inspiration to get into your splits faster, so that you don't have to hold yourself up and use your upper body strength. You can just come down, but you'll be in a bigger stretch, right? So, and then of course you're trying to stretch that back leg straight. I'm doing what I can today. You know, everything feels really tight. Those of you that are overstretching, Feel free to stretch forward, or I like to rock a little bit over to that side just to go deeper into that stretch. You can also get like a yoga block in front of, or not in front of, underneath your front foot, and put your foot carefully on the yoga block. You would obviously start with it on there and then slide out. You don't want to try to get into the split and then put the block underneath your foot. That would be really hard. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's your life, but I'm just trying to make it easy for you. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, we're gonna hold for a couple more breaths. You should be feeling it. If you want to do a cambre back, opening up the upper body, I would only suggest that if you're all the way down. If you want to stretch forward, feel free. Again, alignment, your back leg, the front of the back leg should be attached to your mat. So the top of your foot, the shin, the quad. Okay, we're gonna slowly come out of it. Take your time, lift up, and then slowly come out. Okay, I'm adjusting my shorts, and then I'm gonna sit back for a second because, oh, my hips. My neighbors are probably like, what is she screaming about now? Screaming about my hips, bitch. All right, ready for the other side? We're gonna do that whole thing again, which sounds really daunting today, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. You guys probably don't even know what that song is. Oh my God, my hips. Did you guys do that Ustrasana from last week? That's the best. Camel Pose. Here's a funny story. So while we go into this stretch, I'll tell you this funny story about Camel Pose. This is more for my YouTubers because they're used to stories like this. But Twitchers, you guys can get hip to it too, okay? Welcome to ChocoLumpia. This is what we do here. So we're going into your runner's stretch. Oh, right leg in front, okay? Sorry, you won't be able to see my face while I'm telling you this amazing story. So last week we did Ustrasana, Camel Pose. And I could not remember the Sanskrit name for it for some reason, even though I knew it. I just couldn't think of it. But, so Sanskrit Ustrasana, and then the translation is Camel Pose, because you're basically, when you're in the full position, you're trying to look like the hump of a camel's back, okay? So I've been teaching yoga for a very long time, and I was teaching class one morning, go ahead and take the knee down, and then point the foot. So this is what we stretched last side, we're doing on this side, sending the hips forward, yeah? So I'm telling the students to go into Ustrasana, but instead, well, see, now this is all built up and it seems like it's gonna be this really hilarious story, and it's not. It just was really funny at the moment. But I don't know how I kept it together. So instead of saying Camel Pose, I said camel toes. And no one laughed, but I know that they wanted to. I'm assuming they heard me because I said it very loud, okay? And I don't know how I didn't laugh, to be completely honest, because I'm immature as fuck. Go ahead and bend the knee. And then take your hand to your foot. Oh, optional, right? So if you're not wanting to go this deep into the stretch, don't. You can always use a yoga strap as well. I said, come into camel toes. And in my heart just kind of like died and I was mortified because this is a college class, and I just pretended like I didn't say that. And I kept going, but after class, I could not stop laughing because I had to hold it back for that entire time. No one said anything. No one came up to me after and was like, oh my God, I can't believe you said camel toe. I was surprised, actually. Oh. Okay, release that foot. Oh. Now we're gonna send the hips back just like we did on the last side. Send the hips back, 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 back. Straight front leg. I'm gonna flex my foot just to get a deeper stretch in the gastrocnemius, your calf. And then feeling this in your hamstring. And again, stretching forward if that's what you want to do. And breathe. Yeah, so last week when I couldn't remember the stupid name of the pose, I was like, how? I must have blocked it out after that experience. Camel pose, camel toes. And for years after that, I had to really concentrate before I taught that pose because I didn't want to accidentally say camel toes again. So maybe that's what happened. Yeah, I blocked it out. I blocked out Ustrasana camel pose. Camel pose. You know, they probably didn't even hear me, but it was hilarious. It's fine. It's a little memory and story I can share now on YouTube and Twitch. Oh, you guys, this side is tighter. So if that's the case, you know, just try your best to relax and breathe, just like we did last time. We're doing the whole build up again. And then after this, we'll get to the floor and we'll do the jazz split kind of primer split, and then we'll go into your full split. But we're warming up on a Friday. Oh, holy moly. Okay, so now we're gonna engage the upper body. I'm gonna push into the floor and lift myself up so I can go into my jazz split. Oh, okay. So the leg is in front. My shorts are disappearing. Leg is in front, and then we're opening up this hip. That's your left hip. Toes pointing to the back, okay? I am flexing my foot just because I want to and engaging my quad on this side. So now we keep the shoulders and the hips squared, and then we walk those hands forward. Oh yeah, and you go as far as you want. If you stay all the way up for the whole stretch, then that's fine, if that's what you need. So we're breathing. Okay, so I'm like super late to the game, and sometimes that happens because I have a lot of other shows and things that I do, so I don't have time to have like too many shows at once that I watch. But I just got hip to cheer, and it's just funny because if like if social media is talking about one thing too much, I'm kind of like, I don't want to watch it because it's like everybody's watching it, must be lame. But then, you know, you do check it out and you're like, oh my God, it is really good. I'm obsessed with cheer right now. I'm on first season, and it's exciting to watch because I was never a cheerleader. I was never a cheerleader, but sorry, my brain is thinking of the Anna Nicole Smith Mad TV skit where she goes, I used to never be a cheerleader. She's at the Super Bowl. If you've never seen it before, it's one of the funniest skits from Mad TV ever. R.I.P. Anna Nicole Smith. But they make like her character is hilarious. Anyway, I was never a cheerleader is my point. But I've danced my whole life. I teach dance, and I was on dance teams that were like associated with cheer. So I was never an actual cheerleader, but I was like obsessed with cheer. But I danced, and you know, my parents were like, pick one. So yeah. But so watching it like reminds me of all of the competition and auditions, tryouts, the stress of remembering choreography and competing and hurting yourself, like all of that stuff from watching the show. And then all of the other things going on in the cheerleaders' lives is like intense, you know, because it's just they're living life at the same time. And then now they're doing this Netflix documentary. It's a lot. Okay, we're gonna open up the chest to the front and then take it to the side. So I'm going right arm and leg attached, and then left arm reaching out. Or, because my foot's flexed, I'm gonna connect my hand and my foot. I like to try to climb through. Don't do that yet if you're not warm enough, but if you are, it's like you're doing a bow and arrow, but you're on the floor, so you're stretching. Anyway, I've been thinking about that because I've been watching it. I think I started binging it last night. So I've only been watching it for one day, but I watched like 5 episodes. I was like, oh my God, I love stretching. I love stretching and I want to do flips. And then I woke up this morning and one of the cheerleaders was on a morning show, and I was like, oh my God, it's like, because I think 2nd season just started, but I'm only on 1st season. You know, I had to watch my other shows, which I'm not going to say what they are because I don't want anyone to ruin it for me in the comments. Because y'all be doing the most with that sometimes. But yeah, I have my shows that I have to watch, that I love. And then every once in a while when one ends, or I feel like I have time for another one, I sprinkle another one in, but then I'm so obsessed with it that I just want to know what happens. It's like, it's hard to just watch one unless it's a show where they, you know, it's coming out once a week. If they just dump the whole thing into the app or whatever, it's like, bro, I can't. It's like potato chips, you can't have just one, or French fries, you can't have just one. Okay, we're gonna take it to the diagonal. So the space between the 2 legs, take your diagonal stretch. You can flex the foot or point it up to you. I need to stretch my feet, and I think I'm gonna do that on Twitch, but I don't know when. But I have a whole foot stretching routine that I need to get back into because all of this like work from home and quarantining stuff has been affecting my point that I've worked so hard to get. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Foot stretching on Twitch. I don't know when. You guys can let me know what days and times are good. When are you on here? I would stay on and do it, but I have to teach another class at 12. I teach twerking. I wonder if there's got to be twerkers on Twitch, right? Or is that not allowed? I don't really know what all. I should read the TOS more. I just know that you can't be like naked or anything, obviously, right? But I don't know if people twerk on here. Probably not. I get in trouble on YouTube for twerking and on Instagram. So, what of a trouble? But I teach twerk at 12 from my online studio because I can do that because that's my business. Okay, come up. Ready? We're gonna lift up and we're gonna slowly go into your split on the right side. That might be your more flexible side. It might not be. It's my tighter side. So we're gonna take our time, okay? So lift up. Now remember, it might help if you have a sock, if you're on a hardwood floor, or even if you're on carpet, it might help if you have a sock on the front foot, because then that's gonna help you slide out easier. So I would say from here, right? Like I'm on my back left knee. That's gonna be my back leg. My right leg's gonna be my front. So I'm gonna stretch that leg out in front. I'm gonna scoot over though so I can actually fit. And if you feel a lot of pressure in the back knee, you can always fold your mat again, or put a knee pad on, or put a towel or a small pillow underneath that back knee. So now I stretch my front leg straight, and then I take my hands to the sides. And I might stay here depending on how tight your hamstrings are. But again, this is gonna sound like a bunch of farts, but it's my foot on the mat. We're gonna slide that front leg out. I'm actually gonna unfold that. And then slide all the way out. Oh, tightness. Oh, yes. Ooh, okay. So the back knee is attached to the floor. Back knee, quad, top of the foot attached to the floor. Now, if you're not all the way down yet, which I'm still kind of hovering because everything's tight, you might have to use your arms to hold you up. And that's okay. Now, we stayed on that left side for quite a bit, so we're gonna be here for a little while. So just breathe. And if you have to come out of it, come out of it. My legs are already shaking, so that's gonna be great fun. We'll talk about things. If you guys wanna write in the chat, I don't know, say hi or tell me if this is your easier side, right or left. Oh. Now for those of you, again, like on the other side, if you are working on oversplits, you would have put a yoga block underneath your front foot, and then you would just slide your back leg back. Yeah, as long as you're moving away from center, you're trying to stretch both legs away. And then here, I'm trying to get that left hip to rotate forward. I'm gonna take it over here so I can try to open that hip more. Oh, good God, man. Try your best to relax. Those of you that want to go into your cumbre back to open up the chest, you can do that. You can also just take it forward, stretching over. Breathe. We're gonna finish with middle splits. So just sitting in it, okay? Usually, well, yeah, usually I would have you come up. Well, we'll do that here. In class, I would have you just rotate into your center, but since I can't like spot you or check that, slowly lift up and bring that leg in. And just take a moment to let those legs relax. Holy moly. We'll finish with the center stretch, okay? Okay. So we'll take the legs out in front one more time. And get those legs to just relax. A little massage. I like to do a little massage on the kneecaps, because if you were feeling pressure on the back knee on the floor, then you know you're gonna feel some soreness or discomfort there. So stretching forward. We did this one last week. It's Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Actually, no, we won't do middle split today. We'll do middle split next week. Because I'm here every Friday, Flexibility Fridays, every Friday at 10 a.m. PST, ChocoLumpia. And sometimes we just stretch and sometimes there's a focus. So today's focus was splits. So if you're not necessarily a split person, then you might not watch or practice this one, but you might, because just overall flexibility is good for you. Even if it's just stretching out your hamstrings, if you tend to have tight hamstrings or your lower back feels tight, these stretches will all work too. You know, so your biggest goal in life might not be to get your right and left splits, but by practicing. Is that an earthquake? By practicing, you get to stretch out all of those muscles too. So, last week I was talking about my sock inventory. I'm gonna go on to my OnlyFans after this and do another foot or sock inventory live. So if you wanna follow me over there, go for it, same handle. And then next week I will be here to do more stretching, more Flexibility Fridays. I'm gonna do a foot stretch soon. I just don't know what day. So you guys can message me or let me know what days or times work. But I have a foot stretcher. I need to work on my point, just getting my point back from taking a break and dancing online. But I want to get my point and my stretches back. So yeah, you guys can join me in that too. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. This will stay up on my wall so you can do your splits some more or at a better time or over and over again so you get super bendy and flexy. Let your head fall one more time over. Oh, I just realized we didn't do that right side. We did the left side over, yeah, before we went into that split side, but you can twist on this side. Just so we're even and symmetrical. Woo. All right, slowly come out of it, and you guys are all done. Nice job. Thank you for joining me.